Start. Good seeing everybody.
Are we on? Are we on? It says we're on. Are we on? Ah, there we are. Hot last week. Welcome, everybody.
What's happening?
They recorded it.
Got it.
Barbara had one empty bag to go on the bike and lost. And we got home and she called after the bike cross Kansas. One of the volunteers found it. And they shipped it to us in a wooden box. I mean, not a cardboard box, but a box. And inside was her bag and this message that I'm going to read to you that he had in there, which I think is really good. Says, we like to think that our attitudes are affected by what people do and say to us. But in reality, it's what we say to ourselves that has the greatest influence on how we present ourselves to the world. I thought that was profound. So, join me, please, in short prayer. Lord, I ask you to bless our meal today and our meeting, and may we always be in your service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Gary.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic one indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. You can be seated, Nancy. Really saw my here. Decided to ditch this whole. We're trying to make it. Well, we're doing it once a month. I think it's in the.
Good afternoon to all you Kiwanis. I'm Nancy Horn, your Commissioner of Revenue. Can't hear me. I'm gonna have to scoot down because I'm tall then. I'm Nancy Horn, Commissioner of Revenue for Roanoke County. And we want to welcome our guests. So as I call your name, would you please stand up? Julie Swanson, a guest of Bruce Swanson. Hannah Cox with Roanoke Symphony. Ben Spigot, and a guest, that's a guest, and would you please stand up?
I'm here.
Okay. Julie, I think it's Wharton. Friends of the Blue Ridge is our guest today, and I'm not supposed to introduce her, so she's going to get introduced twice, and I'm sure she's going to join our club. Julie, welcome. Randy Myers, and a guest of John Ewer. Stand up, please. Thank all of you. That's all of our guests. Enjoy and pray and come back as we want. Thank you.
Jean Bollendorf is gonna celebrate birthday. She's gonna sing for us today too. You're not singing today?
All gonna sing
We're
together.
all gonna sing. Okay.
Well, we have quite a few birthday babies in the room with us today, and some who are here other days, but maybe not today. I just want to double check that Sam Darby is not here. Okay, he is April 5th. And our birthday starting from the top of the month, Chloe Willis, April 1st, no fooling. April 2nd, Andre Brooks. April 5th, Sam Darby. April 10th, Tim Thompson. April 12th, Bob Haverman, who's normally with us today. April 14th, also April 12th, our new member Bert Boyd, who's with us today. April 14th, Gary Dirk, who's with us. April 18th, Jim Randalls. April 19th, Eddie Barnes, they're both with us today as well. And then April 27th, Dwight Steele. So let's all sing, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear one. Happy birthday to you.
You know, we don't have to pay a royalty on that because we're not broadcasting. Which is probably a good thing. I have invited Hannah Cox to join us today. She's coming to us from the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra. You know, Roanoke is unique in that, what are we, like the 64th market or something like that, 75th market? But we have an opera, we have a ballet, we have a symphony, we have Mill Mountain Theater. I mean, from an opportunity to participate in these things, we're punching well above our weight. And the symphony, in one of their fundraising efforts, is the painted violin. So I've asked Heather to come and talk to us about the raffle for the painted violins, and she's brought some violins to show us. Hannah?
Hello. So Ben did a great job. I'm here with the symphony to tell you about painted violins, and I'll show you some of the violins. And as I'm getting them out, I'll tell you a little bit about what this project is. So about 20 years ago, well, exactly 20 years ago, the symphony did the painted violin project for the first time. And they worked with 12 local artists to Roanoke. We had 12 violins donated to the symphony. They were painted on, very much as the name of the project says, the Painted Violin Project. And they were raffled off to anybody who wanted to buy a raffle ticket. It was all localized to Roanoke because 20 years ago, it wasn't possible to do that online or anything, you know, past what we were doing here in Southwest Virginia. And we decided to bring it back this year, just coming out of the pandemic and with all of the craziness that has happened the last few years, we wanted to do something that engaged the community, engaged our education departments, engaged students, artists, just really create a really large community effort with as many people as we possibly can. So I've been steamrolling this project for about the last year. It's been in my head. And just in the last month or so, it's been finally in all of your heads and the rest of the community. So it feels really exciting for me. And all of the violins that we have, we're working with artists in Lynchburg and Floyd, Czech, Rocky Mount, and then the majority of them are right here in Roanoke. We're working with a lot of the art teachers that are around at William Byrd High School, Patrick Henry High School. There's an artist who her students are in the youth symphony and everything that the Roanoke Symphony runs. It's really been wonderful to work with all these people and see what they bring to the community and what they're able to do. So I'll show you some of these violins. Is it okay if I set the case here? We're doing a raffle with them, so it's your lucky day because you might be able to win one. So they're not playable anymore because they've been totally stripped of all of the varnish and everything like this. This is done by Stephanie Klein Davis. If you know Stephanie Klein Davis, she's a photographer in the area. She's a teacher at William Byrd High School. So she did this one, and all the ginkgo leaves and everything down here are photographs that she's taken and transferred onto the violin. So this is a really neat one. I have 3 more, so. I tried to bring a nice selection of ones that were all very different. And I actually brought 2 black ones. So let's see, this is probably another black one that I have. No. So this one here is done by an artist over in Floyd. His name's Stephen Kenny. I don't have a favorite. I have a new favorite every single day. And this one rotates between my favorite one pretty often. The back is gilded in gold, which I think is pretty neat. And what I love about this project, not only is it working with all these different artists and all these different people, but all of the money and the proceeds that we get from the raffle element of it are going directly to our education departments to help with funding for student scholarships, to be able to get kids more access to music education, instruments in their hand, private lessons to students who really deserve it but just can't afford them, to hire more teachers, to bring music programs into schools. There's a lot of schools here that don't have string education programs as a part of it, and the symphony is hoping to supplement that within our schools so that we're able to continue having this rich cultural string and music and orchestral world here in Roanoke.
So fun, you get to see it first.
Yeah. We need your approval. So this is another one of my favorites. This is done by the 2 students are in the youth symphony program. They both play violin, and their mom is actually a jeweler and a metal worker. And they're moved here from India quite some time ago. I believe the kids were born here, but the parents moved. And she wanted to incorporate her cultural understanding of henna design and really intricate dot work like this. And I just think this is so stunning. And whose house would this not look beautiful in? I think it would look beautiful in mine. I did buy some tickets and I put them in my boyfriend's name. So. Yeah. If Kyle Benjamin wins.
Yeah.
So this is by an artist named Janet. She's over in Blue Ridge, Virginia. And Janet, I think, is a wonderful woman. She, during COVID, painted a picture, an oil painting of the Blue Ridge Parkway every day. So when I went to her house to deliver the violin to be painted on, she showed me the collection of all of her Blue Ridge paintings, and they're beautiful. I believe, off the top of my head, I think this is a bridge at, I'm not from Virginia. I don't know a lot about the Blue Ridge Parkway. I do now, but Craggy Point Pinnacle, is that a thing? Mile 339. And then the back is mile marking 1012. So those are the 4 that I brought with me today, but there's 10 more of them, or 8 more of them. We did 12 total, and they're all just as different as these 4. It was honestly very difficult to pick. Some other names of artists that we have, Kay Sutherland did an impressionistic violin. It's really beautiful. I know her name is a little bit bigger in the art world in Roanoke. Dan Kuhl, the high school art and ceramic teacher at Patrick Henry, actually bought a second violin, deconstructed it with a saw, and then made his violin look like it is exploding. So that one is really unique and stresses me out to drive around in the car with, but it can stress you out by sitting in your house if you wanted to purchase a ticket. So I'll be here. If you did want to talk about it more, I would obviously be more than happy to discuss it. Yes.
How long will you be here?
I will be here until the end of the day today. The raffle will take place on May 7th during our final Masterworks concert. It's Beethoven's Choral Symphony, which is the big piece that he wrote before the 9th Symphony. Da, 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 da. Ticket, I'm getting there, tickets. You can get 1 ticket for $25 or 5 tickets for $20, or 5 tickets for $100, which would be $20 a ticket. So you're getting a ticket for free. But again, all the money goes back directly to education, every single penny of it. There's nothing that's not going to the kids. Yes.
So we don't have cash on today.
There is a website. I in fact have a QR code with me. And if you just Google painted violins, Roanoke, it's the first link that pops up.
You just stepped in with QR.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
No,
You didn't know. You didn't
no.
know.
Oh, It's okay. You can talk to me. You can also email me and I'll personally send you a link. But yeah, if there's any questions, I would be happy to talk about it. Right now, I'm bringing them, so there's some of them are in Floyd right now. They're gonna be at the farmer's market this upcoming weekend. They'll be at Roanoke College, at the Glebe, at Brandon Oaks, and then at all of our concerts. So on April 28th, we're having a John Denver concert.
Yes.
They'll all be there. On April 27th, I'll extend the invitation to all of you. We're doing a reception at Hotel Roanoke, free of charge to come in. And all of the artists will be there. We have some student musicians playing and they'll all be on display at Hotel Roanoke on the 27th. And then at our Masterworks concert on May 7th, they will all be on display as well.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Hannah.
of course. Thank you, guys.
So Pancake Day is May 6th, right? Right? Pancake Day is May 6th. And I can only work until 10 o'clock because I'm rehearsing for Choral Fantasy. So I'll be cutting out, but if you haven't bought your tickets for the symphony, please do, and please go to the website rso.com and check out Painted Violins, get your raffle tickets. The money goes directly back to these students that are learning string instrumentation. It's a fantastic, a fabulous program that I'm glad Hannah could bring to us today. Now it's time for the KPAD report, and we will suffer through Mike Obrachta to get to the other leaders.
But before the suffering commences, I'll just make mention, my wife and I made a sizable donation to the violin program last week. Encourage you to do the same. So with that said, what we're going to do is each week is I'm going to show you a short, entertaining, dramatic, inspirational video about the past week's performance of these racing teams. But you get a few remarks from me before you see the video. Then thankfully, I turn it over to Mike and Stephanie. So this week's newsletter has a short article I wrote acknowledging and thanking the 4 major sponsors for KPAD this year. That's right, 4. As you know, Haley Toyota has returned to us. Thank you, club member Chuck Baker. As you know, ServPro has returned to us. Thank you, club member Clark Goodman. As you know, the Roanoke Times has signed on to be a new major sponsor. Thank you, Greg Lineberger, for lining it up. And number 4, you're hearing for the first time today, number 4, club member David Points has upped his ante to become a major sponsor of KPAD. Let's see if we can get something going on the screen. Or do we have to ask Hannah for some help? No, not Hannah.
It was coming.
Was I impatient?
Yes.
It's never happened before. There we go. So the race, recall now, these are the race results from this week only. And it's a pretty big spread in results. Not everyone was a winner. So Intimidators did an unbelievable job. Look at that. And just without passing up the opportunity for ridicule at someone else's expense, apparently Full Throttle wasn't. Mike, Stephanie?
Funny because it's true.
Yes, right. It's not laughing because it's true.
Go on the first slide.
Yes, first slide. In full screen. There we go. All right, Kiwanis, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
All right, was it good? No. Yeah, all right, let's try it again. Good afternoon, Kiwanis. All right, there we go. All right, so first, Mike pointed out that the Intimidators were our #1 team of the week, so I've got to change hats. And go with number 3.
Yeah.
And there's the crew chief right there. Kevin, come on up with your team. You guys aren't familiar with the nickname there, that's named after a famous racer, number 3. What's his name? Dale, there. Yeah, Dale, there you go. All right. So.
Right, the right Reverend Dale Naylor.
Congrats.
All right, so we're going to go over the individual results for drivers. Let's get a picture here. There we go. All right. We're at Richmond this week. Little fun fact about Richmond, first major track in the country to do night races. So I tried to pick pictures that were Richmond at night. So here we go. All right. So top drivers for the week. Stephanie, I'm going to have you read these out. Ready?
I'm ready.
Top drivers for the week. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Joe Gaither, $450. Okay, Joe. Way to go. As we know, Rupert with 475 coming in 4th place, coming in on Zoom.
Yep.
Yes. How about Jim Randall's for 500? Second place. Some big numbers.
All right, you guys ready for the
Drum roll, please. None other than President.
Ben, congratulations. And he is setting the pace. So
Yes, he is.
top drivers of the season. Here we go.
Here we go. Top drivers. All right.
Mike Loveman's in 4th place at 600.
Hey, Mike.
3rd place, JC Taylor. 2nd place is Joe Lemmer. You can see Joe sitting back there with the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And of course, Ben is in 1st place at 2,000. I do want y'all to know that I talked to Rupert Cutler this morning. Rupert's got checks in the mail and he's coming for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to bump you and get you out of the way. Yeah. All right. And as Mike said, our weekly total, if I can get it to come up on the screen, there we go. 8,282.
Okay.
John tells me that may be the largest weekly total we've ever had turned in. So well done, Kiwanis.
Well,
And so far for our season, and we're about a 3rd way through,
yes,
13,499.
that's it.
So remember, our goal is 40,000. We're at
Yeah.
13,500. So we got a couple more weeks to go. Need y'all to get those tickets sold and get them turned in. So
Yes.
thank you.
And I do have one thing to say for those who do not have tickets, please contact me. I have a bag of tickets that I need to distribute, and you may be one of them. So I want to make sure you have an opportunity to participate and not use it as an excuse that you did not because you were not able to sell your tickets. So with that said, I want to say that Full Throttle had a blowout. They spun out. They are waiting on a new tire. And then there's another one that did not have gas. So they haven't been able to start, and I won't call out no names. Thank you.
All right. Ben, I think you get this for the rest
You
of the
get
meeting.
that's right. There you go, Ben.
Thanks, Mike. It's so much fitting.
Do you have a video? Do you have
It's-
PowerPoint?
Yeah, Mike's got it.
Okay, progress is being made. Let's see, announcements for the week. On your tables, you will find a flyer for the Interclub that's being planned for April 21st at Stony Brook Vineyards. There should also be a sign-up sheet for that. We're hoping to have 50 or 60 or so folks there. The other clubs have committed. It's going to be a fairly big event. I think they're planning on more than 100 folks being there. We're going to have music. Dan Chitwood has decided to put the band back together. He's on a mission from God. He's going to put the band back together. Gonna pay our taxes before he gets arrested.
And the club will go.
And the club will bill. So if you'll just sign up, the club will bill you directly. Kids Fishing Day, April 22nd. Bob Rutherford and Mike Bell are chairing that. There's no sign-up sheets, I don't think, today, but if you're interested in participating, reach out to Bob Rutherford and Mike Bell directly. The regional Wytheville regional meeting in Wytheville is also on April 22nd. There's a flyer for that also on your table. There's a QR code there that gives you some additional information. Of course, all this stuff is available on our website and it's in our newsletter as well. The Interfaith Breakfast, May 4th at 6:45 a.m. at Kazan Temple. The tickets are available through Ken Briggs or Bruce Swanson. And Hal's Motor Freight, again, is sponsoring that this year. We especially want to thank them and appreciate what they're doing for us. The club officers will meet tomorrow in my office at 3 o'clock, cocktails at 4. The Nature Park Committee meets 4 p.m. on Monday, 4 p.m. Monday at the Melrose Library. Is there a Zoom link for that, John?
No, it's in person.
It's in person this time? Okay, very good. In person, Melrose Library. That's Monday at 4 p.m. And the Fun Day Committee, the May 20 Fun Day Committee Zooms next Wednesday at 8 a.m.
That's an unusual time,
That is an unusual time,
but different than we normally.
right? So the Fun Committee or the Fun Day Committee is Zooming next Wednesday at 8 a.m. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we have 4 minutes and you will be time for breakfast. Lois?
I'll be quick. Just continuation from last week. Congratulations to those lady hoagies. They did an awesome job all the way to the Final Four. Hats off to Alex Barge and your Ellis. Oh, he's gonna come up anyway. I won't do his thunder. And to Dave Perry, because JMU was represented by that awesome coach, Kenny Brooks. Not our Kenny Brooks, but Kenny Brooks class act. So congratulations to everybody.
You go ahead.
He's just plugging in.
I'm telling myself 30 seconds. Monday afternoon at 3 o'clock, my husband called and told me that my basement was flooded, which is our entire living space. It's where we spend 90% of our life. And my brag buck is to Clark and to ServPro. You know that Clark's one of my very dear friends, and I actually called him before I even called my insurance company. I didn't know that it was going to feel the way that it feels and how terrible it is to go through something like this. But if any of you ever have something like this happen and you don't call ServPro, you're absolutely crazy, because those people have been the most compassionate and caring and empathetic humans I have ever had. And there is no way that we could possibly go through this if we didn't have those people on our side, touching base with us and telling us what we're supposed to do next and that everything's going to be okay. From the very beginning, all their sentences have started with, "We're so sorry that you're having to go through this," or "I'm sorry that we've had to meet like this," but they have assured us every step of the way that we will rebuild and that we will be fine. So
Yeah.
Clark, I love you so much, and it's just a fabulous company.
Keep going.
Just had to say, go Tigers, and it's spelled Geaux. Go Tigers. Hopefully I'll be back in June for baseball.
Good afternoon, Reeve Kessler. This morning I met about a dozen young ladies from the Patrick Henry High School Key Club at Feeding Southwest Virginia. And over a couple of hours, we managed to clean, label, and box 3,920 cans of diced potatoes, which are now available for distribution to organizations that serve to feed hungry throughout the Roanoke Valley. That's my short brag. My longer brag is a reminder that this club sponsors key clubs at 7 local high schools: Cave Spring, Hidden Valley, Northside, William Fleming, Patrick Henry, Stanton River, and Roanoke Catholic. These young people are out there with frequency. Some of their projects are school-based, like cleaning up litter off of their respective campuses. Some of them are community-based, like what I participated in this morning with Patrick Henry group, which incidentally, they showed up during their spring vacation. But anyway, some of them are in conjunction with our Kiwanis Club, like KPAD, and some of them are international, like trick-or-treating for UNICEF. You know, I'm proud that these Key Club members are under the Kiwanis umbrella, and I hope that you are too.
JC, listen up. Thank you. Steve McGraw to brag on Larice Taylor because she's married to JC all these years. But more importantly, years ago, she said, Steve, can you help me get JC more cultured? Before she came to the right person. And I said, yes. And I found an opportunity today because I gave Hannah Cox $100 for 5 violin raffle tickets. And I'm going to give one of those to JC, hoping that it will help him become more cultured. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you all. That was worth the price of admission. David Perry will introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, President Ben, and good afternoon. I won't make you say it loudly because we already did that, so Mike took care of that. But good afternoon. This month is the month in which we have Earth Day. Earth Day is being celebrated down in Grandin Village in Roanoke on April 22nd. There are a lot of things going on that day, not the least of which is the kids' fishing tournament, but you can do more than one thing on your Saturday. And 3 of our 4 speakers this month have some sort of environmental or outdoor angle to them. If you wanted to miss a meeting and go do something outside and fun, I'm the last speaker in April, so you can skip my meeting if you don't want to hear my shtick. But today, I'm very pleased to welcome Julie Whalen. Julie is the executive director of Friends of the Blue Ridge. Julie is a native of Texas who attended high school in Buffalo, New York, and she earned her business degree from the University of Notre Dame, where she met her husband, PJ. She has over 20 years experience with membership marketing, primarily with nonprofits, and she's been with Friends for over 5 years. Julie and PJ moved to Roanoke from Indianapolis in 2014 and are the parents of 4 children. So without further ado, Julie Whalen.
Good afternoon. All right, there we go. All right, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize somebody that I just reconnected with over, I haven't seen Jackie Bledsoe in over 20 years. And we go back to Indianapolis. And at that point in my life, I was starting my career, and Jackie was, she didn't know it, but was an important mentor in my life as I was getting started in my work life. And being in a space with Jackie, you all know her well enough to know that she is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
And so just, this was a great pleasant surprise. So thank you to Jackie. It's not very often that you get to circle back and thank somebody from your younger years for what they did for you at a moment when they didn't even know that they were making an impact. So. All right, and I'm here to speak about Friends of the Blue Ridge, and the title is, turning 2 after 33 years. You might be like, that's a little weird. So if any of you are familiar with an organization called Friends of the Blue Ridge Parkway, that's how we began our history. We were organized in 1988 as Friends of the Blue Ridge Parkway. We operated as an official park partner with the Blue Ridge Parkway for over 30 years. At the end of the calendar year of 2020, our partnership with the National Park Service expired. And so I guess with every midlife crisis, it's a moment of figuring out what's working for you and what's not. And you kind of do this sifting process and you step away with where your skills and your assets are, and you kind of set off on a new journey. And that's what we did. In January 2021, we began doing business as Friends of the Blue Ridge. We are very similar to like a mini Kiwanis. We are a membership and a volunteer organization with the volunteers being the backbone of our organization. The mission of Friends is to help preserve, promote, and enhance the outstanding natural beauty, ecological vitality, and cultural distinctiveness of the Blue Ridge region. In a nutshell, we are nature, culture, and community. A mission statement is kind of lofty, and how did we put that into play when we were trying to look for a new path forward? So we really leaned into our purpose statement, and I've kind of bolded some of the important words in there that helped us look for new ways to impact the Blue Ridge communities where our volunteers work, play, and live. So we look at conservation opportunities. We also look at preserving historic sites and structures. Youth outdoors and educational components is a big part of what we do, as well as general community involvement. So that looks like economic development or protection of natural resources and local things. And what really got us going on a new direction was partnering with like-minded organizations like a Kiwanis Club. And we are obviously about volunteer work. Who can be a friend? Like I mentioned, we are a membership organization as well as a volunteer organization. So we're structured a little bit different than what you're familiar with from Kiwanis, where you can be a member or a volunteer, or you can be both. So we have members in over 40 different states, a couple international members that financially support us by paying annual dues. And they are roughly about 1,500 members right now. Our volunteers function in a chapter network starting up in Waynesboro, Virginia, all the way down to Asheville, North Carolina. So right now, technically we have 10 chapters. Right now we have 8 active ones. We have 2 chapters that went dormant when we shifted focus, and that's going to be part of our efforts is to revitalize those 2 chapters. And one of those being in like the Burnsville, North Carolina area, as well as farther south of Asheville, down into Waynesville, North Carolina. So here you can see where we do have our active chapters. They start up at Waynesboro, around the Bedford-Lynchburg area. We do have a chapter here in Roanoke, which also hosts our office. The Floyd area is represented with our Rocky Knob chapter. Fisher Peak is down around Hillsville and Galax. Jumping into North Carolina, our Northern Highlands chapter represents kind of Allegheny County, Sparta, North Carolina. Then we dip down into like the Boone and Blowing Rock area and land in Asheville. And then hopefully we do reclaim kind of farther south of Asheville in the coming years, and then that'll extend a little bit further into North Carolina as well. So after spending 3 decades of partnering with the National Park Service, helping them do maintenance work on the parkway, we shifted our skill set to having an impact in Blue Ridge communities. And what did that look like? We've taken on 3 different playgrounds. We built a natural playground up in Waynesboro with partnering with the Blue Ridge Children's Museum there. So the pieces of equipment there are all natural items. It's tree stumps, and you climb up a rock wall to go down the slide. And so that was kind of a fun endeavor. Here in Roanoke, we helped fund the new playground that's out at Explorer Park. So the next time you're out there and you're near kind of the ropes course and the visitor center and the Brew Tavern out there, there's a new playground. We helped spearhead that with the Roanoke County. We helped in Hillsville with an existing playground there that had recently been built. It was an inclusive playground, and they were lacking fencing to make sure that the children with handicaps that were utilizing the playground stayed safe. That was near a couple different parking lots and a body of water. So they wanted to make sure that there was a fence around. So we provided funding for that. We host day hikes. We've also just started a partnership with the Clater Nature Center in Bedford. So we're going to start working on a playground there, as well as cleaning up an existing playground that they have called Otter Space, which is super cute. Here in Roanoke, we do a lot of different things. A lot of them are helping with volunteer events around town, like the marathon and the Ironman. Most recently, actually thanks to Barbara and Durex and some money that she won from a Cox Conserves Award, we have installed bike racks around the community to help with the biking community and improve safety as people are out and about in the community. We also host college groups that come for alternative break programs. Down in the Hillsville area, we are working with the historic renovation of the Sidna Allen House. A chapter down there is working on a pollinator garden and creating a gazebo that will match the architecture of that historic home. We also provided some funding for the creation of the Carroll County Creative Arts Center. So we're really doing a lot of really cool and neat things, and that's just Virginia. Down in North Carolina, we've partnered with a trail association and are doing some trail creation. A huge project that we're going to be a part of is creating a skate park in Sparta, North Carolina. The project idea originated as there was an existing skate park that was an Eagle Scout project that was starting to deteriorate, and that chapter came to the organization and said, hey, we'd like to rebuild the skate park. We thought it was going to be a repair job. It ends up that it's a tear it down and start over job. So we are working with the town of Sparta and a lot of other county or community partnerships there to do a modern day, like state of the art skate park. And we're going to help fund or spearhead the fundraising for that. So, you know, if you would have said, hey, Julie, in 3 years, you're going to be working on a skate park, I would have been like, what? But here we are. And then we do down in Asheville, we've got a chapter that is down there, and they also host college kids and are creating a partnership with the Buncombe County Parks and Recs. So in 2 short years, we have shifted our focus and really had an impact in these communities. And while all of that was kind of a lot in words, here's some pictures to kind of pinpoint some of the projects. So here's a couple of the natural playgrounds that we're working on. Also out at Explorer Park, we provided some funding where they're going to create some outdoor classrooms. So that's the picture in the top left-hand corner where they're going to have one of the outdoor classroom spaces. Here's some of the playgrounds that we've worked on. So there's the fencing around the Brittany's Discovery Center at the Children's Museum in Waynesboro. Not only did we do the natural playground there, but we paid for a muralist to paint the building butts up against the playground, and they wanted to make it look cuter. So they hired a Virginia artist who took children's drawings, so you can kind of see it, and he recreated the children's drawings onto the warehouse wall. So it's a really cool, fun thing that's actually the kids' artwork at play. And then the creation of the Carroll County Creative Arts Center I don't know what that missing photo was supposed to be up there in the top. So your guess is as good as mine. There is a picture of the bike racks that we've just installed, and with the newspaper article that talked about Barbara and her contribution. And then the other picture is a portion of our mission is also the cultural heritage. So during the pandemic, we created a 1 hour musical segment that showcased some junior Appalachian musicians. And so that was kind of fun. And that's what the production is there. Krause Park is the location where the state park will be. And then there's, you might recognize the volunteer in the bottom right-hand corner with his wife. So Gary Durick also sits on our board as our treasurer and is a very active volunteer with Friends as well. And then there's some more pictures of Earth Day events, working to put some pollinator or flower baskets at a farmer's market in Hillsville. So lots and lots going on in just a really short amount of time. One of the coolest things that we've done that we, I don't know how many of you might know Lynn Davis, but she is one of the founders of Friends. And so this year is the first year that we are awarding a scholarship named in her honor. So it's the Friends founder, Lynn Davis Scholarships. It's for students in our chapter areas who intend to pursue a career in environmental studies or cultural studies. So we've got, like I mentioned, the 8 active chapters. So we sent information out to schools in all of those areas. And year 1, I was really just crossing my fingers and hoping we got 5 applications. And it ended up that we had 49. So we just met yesterday with the selection committee and reevaluated some of our budget and some projects that didn't come to fruition or came under budget. So originally we had budgeted $18,000 for this program. But Gary acts surprised on Tuesday when I bring this up at the executive committee, but we're gonna ask the board to allow us to award $30,000 worth of scholarships and reallocating some of our programs expenses because we had so many strong candidates from our Blue Ridge communities. And we just really feel great about being able to help these kids from our neighborhoods pursue their dreams. So for year 1, that is a huge, huge success for us. Something that's really exciting that we hope to grow more in the future. For fundraising events, we had the first annual Blue Ridge Jamboree. So I don't know if any of you attended the event here that we had in Roanoke in November. The concert that we hosted, so that's kind of our umbrella is calling it the Blue Ridge Jamboree. The entertainment for the first year was a tribute concert called Docket 100. So it was people paying tribute to Doc Watson because he just would have had his 100th birthday earlier in March. So we hosted 2 concerts, one here in Roanoke and one we just did in Asheville, North Carolina. We are going to continue this. It will not be a repeat of the Docket 100. It'll be new content in terms of what the Blue Ridge Jamboree will look like. But the next, the 2023 concert in Roanoke will be November 11th at the Jefferson Center. So I hope to see some of your faces in the crowd. Initial idea concepts of that are kind of creating a modern day variety show to showcase some of the music, dancing, and storytelling from our region. So we'll see how that develops and hopefully we see some of you guys there. Finally, we've got, this is another thing that's ours, is a huge fundraising piece for us, is the license plate. And so we've had that plate for almost or 10 years, and we've got over 10,000 plates on the road and growing. The plate has always benefited our organization and the programs that we do. About 5 years ago, we changed the legislation behind the plate so it could fund our operations and programs in Virginia. So before that, it was dedicated solely to one specific project that was going to have an endpoint. So somebody was forward thinking and thought we should get this tweaked so that the money is able to be spent to support the organization and different projects than just this one very specific one. So for about 5 years, that's how it's been. So we did do some updates to the plate to show our new name. But this has been a tremendous revenue stream for us. So if you are driving around with a plate on your car, all of the things that I've talked about, that's what you're supporting. So thank you very much for those of you that do have the plate. And if you're interested in it, just know that it does go to some good works that are happening here in our local communities. And in a very brief amount of time, that's kind of who Friends of the Blue Ridge is now. And I would love to answer any questions that somebody might have for me. Yes.
I enjoyed your presentation. I wanted to say straight up, I love the jamboree. It's a great time.
Thank you.
Don't miss the next one. Promise me. So
Yeah, let's chat.
hear all about. The quality of water.
That would be fantastic. And when Dave drops me back off at the office, we can talk about it in the car ride.
That's good.
Thank you.
At this point, do you have any official relationship with the Park Service?
We do not.
Repeat the question.
Oh, sorry. Can you, sorry, can you say that again? And then I'll repeat it for the people on Zoom. So the question was, what is the impact of no longer working with the National Park Service? So for 33 years, that was our sole function. We could just kind of help them do their job in terms of maintenance projects along the parkway. The impact to us after the initial, that was a huge change in us doing business. So, when you get hit by a wave and you're just kind of tumbling and you're looking for your feet to hit the ground, there was a time of that where we had to try to get our bearings. But honestly, the impact that we're having as an organization has significantly outgrown any impact that we were having for the first 33 years of our organizational history. That as much as it was a challenge to get through the initial 6 months, and I'd like to remind you, we were in the middle of a pandemic at the time too. There was a lot of global as well as kind of organizational change going on. So it was a stressful time, but honestly, we are having such a huge impact in different ways that would have never been available to us under our original structure. So in terms of what the National Park Service, they have figured out a way to fill the role that we played with their staff internally. So they've got a volunteer program, and many of our friends volunteers have continued to help the Park Service through, it's called their VIP program, Volunteers in Park. So they found a workaround, and then we've expanded and grown bigger and faster than I think anyone expected.
This is two-part, I guess. First is we're determining what your future is going to be. If you go through any sort of a vision or strategic planning process, I'm assuming the answer to that is yes. And so, if assuming you did, what are the things you've identified that you want to be doing in the next, say, 5 or 10 years, or shorter, whatever time frame you choose, that you haven't gotten to?
So the question was, what type of strategic planning did we do as we shifted focus? Honestly, we just started a strategic planning process. We spent the first couple years trying to figure out what was going to work for us. So it was, we threw a lot of stuff at the wall and tried to see what would stick and what wasn't. And then we felt like we were just now at after probably about 18 months of feeling like we were really stable and that we knew what our strengths and weaknesses were, and just have started to do a strategic plan. So that is being developed. We want to, in terms of what we're hoping to accomplish in the next, I would say 3 to 5 years, because we're still kind of feel like we're going through our teenage years, maybe our toddler years. We're still kind of growing into ourselves. So we're allowing ourselves to have enough space to figure out what that looks like. We're looking at creating more chapters to have a little bit of a broader impact into other communities, and not asking so much of our volunteers in terms of where they travel to do work. We want to expand the scholarship program. We're also looking for more project ideas that would be a unifying message for the organization. So right now we've relied a lot on partnerships. So we're looking for more opportunities where we have kind of a core service impact of our own. Anyone else? Thank you again for having me. I'll be around for a little bit.
It's our practice to provide an honorarium to our speaker, and this time it goes to Friends of the Blue Ridge Scholarship Fund.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lloyd's card, where is it right now? Hold up the card so I know where it is. Oh, it's back there? Okay, thank you. Very good, appreciate it. If there's nothing else.
Oh, hey, Ben.
Yeah.
Remind people,
Oh,
sign up.
please sign up for the Interclub event on the 21st. John's holding up the flyer that April prepared. And with nothing else, thank you all very much. I declare we're adjourned.
Want to get your signature on it.